Renting a place of your own could be insanely expensive. I've looked up all the okay one-bedroom apartments and studios in the area and found absolutely nothing under $2,000 per month. I'm not the picky kind of person, so by okay, I meant something normal, not haunted, and with no roaches or ghosts floating and wandering around during the daytime and nighttime, or just any time. Since there is nothing affordable, I ended up sharing the house with several roommates. Roommates could be a little bit crazy sometimes, but hey, look at the bright side. I've learned a lot during the time living with roommates, especially about how to choose the right ones, which is not a very useful survival skill at all. The very first thing I've learned about choosing the right roommate is to avoid old people. I meant to avoid having a senior roommate. Not that I'm against old people. I truly respect the seniors since we'll all grow old someday. It's just that if you're at a certain age and you still can't manage to have your own place to live in, there's probably something off. Well, at least in my experience, they all ended up not being able to pay the rent, so the rest of us had to cover for them. So there's this guy Michael. My sixth sense told me not to have him as one of the roommates, but the owner of the house picked him, so I didn't really have a say. So the day after he moved in, I came back from a long day of work. I grabbed my towel, clothes, shampoo, and a bunch of other toiletries, and I was ready for a nice hot shower. I opened the bathroom door, and there he was, sleeping in the bathtub with a slice of half-eaten pepperoni pizza lying on his stomach, and he was snoring like thunder. I stared at him for a few seconds. Hey, wake up. Wake up. Hello, anybody home? Well, I tried to wake him up in multiple different ways, none of them worked. So he occupied the whole bathroom for the entire evening, slept all the way through the night until the very next morning, and no one was able to wake him up. He literally slept like he's dead, except for the snoring part. Yeah, like a super loud snoring corpse. He slept in the bathtub several more times after that, with different types of delicious cuisine lying on his stomach. Until the day we found out about the needles. Yes, the needles. It's actually the cleaning lady who first saw the needles, and it was in the trash can wrapped in a bunch of toilet paper. He was arrested before we even really figured out what the needles are for, but we all kind of guessed it, and I never saw him again. And there is this college kid who plays really loud music after midnight. He also smokes weed inside of the room and pretended he didn't. It's not like we can't smell, you know. We've all got that one thing Voldemort doesn't have. Nose. And here are the two more things to avoid. Liars and disrespectful DJ wannabes. He moved away eventually, and one of his friends from the rowing team took over the room. He's tall and muscular with tan skin. He worked out in the backyard every day. He eats tons of fried chicken with white rice, which I have no idea why I'm telling you these. He's alright, except for the one thing that drove us nuts. You know how the floor could be a little bit wet after you showered, which is totally normal, but it's not normal when the water spots has some sort of color mixed with the smell of ammonia. And the color is not just any color, it's like a subtle yellow. Yeah, you're right. I found out that every single time after he uses the shower, he pees right there in the bathtub and didn't even bother to rinse it up or hide the fact that he did it. He just left it there every single time. It was gross. But I kind of feel it's going to be super awkward if I just went up to him and be like, "Hey dude, did you just pee in the bathtub?" Just by thinking of it, I could kind of feel the awkwardness of silence already. I've always felt like I need solid evidence before accusing anyone of doing anything. But there's no way I can prove that it's him unless I collect a sample of the urine and send it to the laboratory for a DNA test. I kind of wanted to do it, but who in the world does that, right? And he moved out after graduating from school as well. So avoid people who pee or poop in public areas. This is not China, you know. And there's Kevin, the young man who worked for the United States Post Office, aka the USPS. He's cool and I liked him, and he knows a lot about post office, like how to mail your stuff or how to buy stamps and I don't know, Just some regular post office knowledge. Eats lots of canned lentils, which in my opinion is not really something edible. Blah, who eats those? But it doesn't really bother me. He's still my roommate right now, and I hope he doesn't move away before I do, because I'm pretty sure I can't find someone as chill and cool as he is, despite the fact that he eats lentils. I've always had roommates since all the way back in college, but at that time I lived in the dorm, which is a very different situation. We had to share the same room, take the same classes, and enjoy, or you could say endure each other 24/7. I'm just going to let my story end here because I don't really want to expose how reckless I was during my college years. I was young, dumb, and broke, just like all the other college kids, besides the ones come from those crazy rich families. So I'll just keep that as my little secret for now. I'm nice, gentle, positive, and lovely, but I have my dark secrets too. And I'm not going to reveal myself until I trust you enough. Maybe we'll be friends or even roommates someday. Who knows what's going to happen in the future, right?
I'm flying, I'm free like a bird in the sky. You can't stop me once I'm flying so high. I'm flying, I'm free like a bird in the sky.